hesitantly, without any direction, without any motive, to observe, if we can, the whole outward happening of our life. Because if we don't understand what is happening outside of us, which is the measure by which we'll be able to understand ourselves, if we do not understand what is actually going on in the world, the external world, outside the skin, as it were, outside the psychological field, we'll have no measure by which to observe ourselves. So first, if we may, let us together observe. I mean by that word to look carefully, without any bias, as an American or Argentine or British or French or Russian, to observe, or Asia, to observe without any motive, which will be rather difficult, to see clearly, if we can, what is going on. As one observes and travels around the world, there is a great deal of dissension, discord, disagreement, disorder, a great deal of confusion, uncertainty, as is in our consciousness. Until we understand very profoundly the nature of that consciousness and question, delve deeply into it and find out for ourselves whether there can be a total mutation in that consciousness, the world will go on creating more misery, more confusion, more horror. So our responsibility is not some kind of altruistic action out, political or economic, but to comprehend the nature of our being. Why we human beings who have lived on this beautiful, lovely earth, why we have become like this. More there is confusion in the world, the more desire and urge to return to some past illusions, past tradition, past leaders, past so-called saviors. So if one is aware of all this, as one must, what's our response to all this? Not a partial, but total response to the whole phenomena that's going on, taking place in the world. Do we only consider our own personal lives? How to live a quiet, serene, undisturbed life in some corner Or are we concerned with the total human existence, with the total humanity? If we are only concerned with our own particular life, however troublesome it is, however limited it is, however much it is sorrowful and painful, then one does not realize the part is the whole. So one has to look at life, not the American life or the Asiatic life, but life as a whole, holistic observation. The observation that is not a particular observation. It's not my observation or your particular observation, but the observation that comprehends the totality, the holistic view of life. Each one of us has been concerned with his own particular problems. So, the me is the image that I have built about myself as a great man, or I am very good at this or that. And that image gets hurt. Right? You have an image. You are a marvelous cook, a marvelous carpenter, great talker. I'm not. Great talker, writer, spiritual being, a leader. We have created these images for ourselves. We have other images which we won't go into for the moment. These images are the whole of me. Perhaps some of you are not used to all this, because we think along the old traditional lines, habits, and take the easiest way of life. But this requires a great deal of energy, so that you find out whether it's possible never to be hurt, and whether it's possible to live a life without a single belief, which dividing the world and human beings, and so destroying each other. The South Americans believe in one thing, and the Western world believes something else. The ideas, the ideals, the ideologies are destroying human beings. So whether one can live without a single belief, and to discover never to be hurt, which means not to have an image about yourself. As a Hindu, as a Buddhist, as a Catholic, as a Protestant, as a professor, you may profess, you may teach, you may inform, but the image you have created about yourself as a professor, not what you profess, you understand? Is that possible? That's real freedom. And it is possible when I am called an idiot because I have an image about myself, if I have one. To give total attention to that statement as it is said. Understand? When I have an image about myself and you call me an idiot, I react instantly. The reaction is immediate. As the reaction is immediate, to give attention to that immediacy. You understand? Am I making myself clear? That is, to listen very clearly to the idea that I'm an idiot. You call me an idiot. To listen to it attentively. When you listen completely, there is no reaction. It is the lack of listening acutely that creates the image. Vous avez compris? Have you understood this? I suppose I have an image myself, about myself, because I've traveled all over the world, etc., etc., etc. I have an image about myself. You come along and say, look, boy, you're not as good as the other guru or the other leader or some other teacher, some other idiot. You are in yourself an idiot. I listen to that completely. Give complete attention to what is being said. When there is total attention, there is no forming of a center. It's only inattention that creates the center. Have you understood this? Can one give such attention? In some way, can one give this a mind which has been so slack, a brain which has been confused, disturbed, neurotic, which has never actually faced anything, which has never demanded of itself its highest capacity, which is total attention. And when there is total attention to the statement that one is, that I'm an idiot, it has lost totally all its significance. Because when there is attention, there is not a center which is reacting. I've finished for this morning. I believe we meet tomorrow morning. May I get up?